Imagine walking through the streets of a metropolis. Once vibrant and full of life, now there's an unsettling silence that hangs in the air. The pandemic we faced not only altered our daily routine, but also cast shadows over the skyscrapers, shops, and shopping centers we used to frequent. But what's really happening behind those closed doors and dark windows? How do the repercussions of the pandemic reverberate beyond the real estate scene and shake the foundations of our economy? This is where we dive into the intersection of uninhabited buildings and the echoing economic ripples they leave behind. The post-pandemic real estate scenario isn't just about brick and mortar. It's about people, businesses, and above all, evolution and adaptation. Join us in this exploration as we peel back the layers of real estate transformation and its impact on our wallet, our economy, and our future. If you're wondering how all of this affects you, your family, your business, well, you're in the right place. Don't look away, because what's coming next is vital. Let's begin this journey together. Do you remember those hurried mornings, the congested traffic, and the daily rush to the office? What if you were told that this scene, once so commonplace, was about to become a thing of the past? COVID-19 not only confined us to our homes, but also redefined how we work. Remote working, once an option for a few, became the norm for many of us. With more and more companies adopting distance work, what happens to the massive skyscrapers and commercial centers that once buzzed with activity? Major cities, which have always been the epicenters of trade and business, are feeling an unprecedented impact. With less demand for commercial spaces, prices are dropping, and many of these buildings face drastically reduced occupancy rates. Many wonder, will big cities lose their luster? What will become of these concrete and steel giants that now seem quieter than ever? We are in the midst of a real estate revolution. The transformation is not just physical, but also economic and cultural. The world of work and business is adapting and evolving. And here we are, at the epicenter of this change, witnessing and partaking in this transformation. So, what's next for our cities, our businesses, and our economy? Let's dive deeper into the currents of this transformation and understand where it will lead us. As we navigate this wave of change, the effects are already echoing throughout the real estate market, and the signs are clear and, in some cases, alarming. Take, for example, the case of Starwood, a giant in the world of real estate investment. They recently failed to pay a massive loan of $212 million related to an office building in Atlanta, a building that, at its peak, was considered a jewel in the crown of the real estate market. But what's even more startling is the drastic drop in the building's occupancy. From a robust 90% occupancy, it plummeted to a mere 60%. And Starwood? Well, they decided it wasn't worth renegotiating. In an unexpected move, Starwood simply handed over the keys and walked away. A move that raises eyebrows and signals the start of a trend that could become common. What happened in Atlanta may just be the tip of the iceberg, a story that makes us wonder, how many more Starwoods will we see in the near future? And what will be the implications for the market as a whole? As we delve deeper into this narrative, it's crucial to understand the emerging challenges and opportunities. The real estate market is at a tipping point, and just like Starwood, we all have pivotal decisions to make. When we think of the American banking landscape, images of towering skyscrapers and logos of famous banks might come to mind. You might think that these financial giants dominate every corner of the market. But the reality is much more intricate and, in some ways, surprising. You might be astounded to learn that the majority of commercial real estate loans, instead of being in the hands of these financial titans, are managed by our small regional and community banks. Yes, those very same banks you see on the corners of small towns and peaceful neighborhoods are the real protagonists here, controlling about 2/3 of all commercial real estate loans. But here's the catch. With the current turmoil in the real estate market, like what we saw with Starwood, it's these smaller banks, not the Wall Street giants, that are feeling the direct brunt. These banks, crucial in driving local economies, face significant risk. They're not only at the heart of real estate lending, but are also the support pillars for small and medium enterprises. So, what's the real implication? Well, with these banks staring at potential losses, they might cut back on their lending. And that can throttle access to capital for these local businesses. The result is a chain reaction. Fewer loans lead to less expansion, fewer hires, and eventually an impact on local economic growth. And guess who's at the forefront of this storm? Our community banks. As we brace ourselves to navigate this uncertain landscape, understanding who the real players are and what's at stake is critical. Because at the end of the day, the impacts reverberate through our communities, our neighborhoods, and our economy. In any city or village, the beating heart of the economy is the small and medium-sized businesses. They bring life to the streets, create jobs, and keep the economic wheel turning. Now, imagine for a moment, what happens when the lifeblood of these businesses, the financing, starts to dry up? Small banks, as we've discussed, aren't just the backbone of real estate loans. They are also the primary financiers of our beloved small and medium-sized businesses. But with growing uncertainties in the real estate market and the financial pressures these banks are facing, they might be forced to tighten their belts. And this has direct consequences. If these businesses can't get the needed capital, they won't be able to expand, hire more people, or even keep their operations going. And as you can imagine, this triggers a domino effect. Less investment leads to fewer hires, less consumption, and ultimately a decline in economic growth. We're at a critical crossroads where decisions made now will have a lasting impact on our communities. The challenge is monumental, but it's also an opportunity to reimagine, restructure, and rebuild. So, as we navigate these uncertain times, it's vital to remember the interconnectedness of all aspects of our economy, and more importantly, the role each one of us plays in it.
But I do think that the hollowing out of the downtowns in the United States and elsewhere in the world is going to be quite significant and quite unpleasant. I think the country will get through it all right, but as they say, it will often involve a different set of owners.
Amid all the challenges and transformations we are experiencing, Charlie Munger's words resonate deeply. There will be a lot of pain. A straightforward observation, but one that reflects the reality many are facing. The big question that remains is, who will ultimately bear the brunt of this impact? Will institutions find ways to adapt? Or will it be the small businesses and the general community that will feel the weight of this storm? Regardless of how this situation unfolds, one thing is certain: human resilience and adaptability have been tested time and again throughout history, and we've always found ways to rise, learn, and move forward. And as we navigate these tumultuous times, I invite you to join us on this journey of learning and reflection. Here, on our channel, we seek not only to understand the challenges, but also to find solutions and inspiration in the world's greatest investors. Before we say goodbye, I have a special request for you. If this content brought you any value or reflection, please give a like to help us reach more people. Do you have any opinions or insights about what we discussed today? Leave your comment below. We'd love to hear what you think. If you're not yet part of our community, click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. And of course, if you think this information could be useful to someone you know, share the video. Your interaction makes all the difference to us and helps bring knowledge and reflection to more and more people. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.